everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I want to talk about reselling products that are essential for me to run my reselling business, and that I think if you don't already have them, these are great things that you should invest in. And also, if you're a beginner, these are great tips to, start off to get successful. I know it took me a while to get the collection that I have now, and so I just wanted to share it with everyone. I get a lot of questions that people are asking what I use to store my inventory or what products I, swear by and need as a reseller. So I thought this would be a great video to work on today. And I have actually made a video like this in the past, but since it has changed quite a bit, so I wanted to make a new version for this year. So hopefully you enjoy this kind of video, and make sure that you're subscribed because you don't want to miss the future reselling videos that I do here on this channel. I do a lot of tips and tricks and features and hacks, all things Poshmark related and all things reselling related, so I would love for you to stick around and watch more videos. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of go down the order of, photographing to then storing to then selling and then shipping out. So when it comes to photographing, the essentials that you need for photographing, I think personally, are a mannequin or at least some kind of nice hanger to hang things with a white background or a backdrop. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to invest in a mannequin, they're expensive. I got mine on Facebook Marketplace for a very cheap price, like around $10 or so, and it was in great condition. So I would suggest, if you don't want to invest in one, buy it new. You can always look for a secondhand one. You could also go to department stores when they're closing, and they always have them relatively cheap. So I would recommend getting one. I really do think they make a difference in the way you style and list your clothes. But if you really don't have enough room for one, or if you don't have one at the moment, I think you can make do with a white background, either a white wall or a white backdrop, and a hanger to hang the items on. Now, I think it's so crucial to have a white background, so if you don't have a plain white wall, you can use, the back of a door if it's white, or just get like a curtain that you can hang, things in front of, and it will really go a long way with your listings. And I also don't want to forget to mention, there's another kind of mannequin that I use, their feet mannequin or shoe mannequin, where you actually put the shoes inside of these, or you put the mannequin on the inside of the shoe, and I'll upload a picture of what this looks like, but it really just helps, form the shoe better and make sure it stands up properly in the photo, and it makes it, like if you have a pair of like strappy sandals and it's really hard to show what they look like, putting them in these feet mannequin really go a long way. And I really recommend getting clear, because then it's not going to take away from any colors that are in the shoes, and it's not going to distort anything. And so they're really cheap on Amazon. I purchased them and they really make a big difference when it comes to my listings. And like I said, they're really, really cheap, and you're going to keep using them, going forward. And along with the mannequin line, you can get necklace displays or bracelet displays if you sell jewelry, or even earring displays. I do sell jewelry. I sell a smaller amount of jewelry than I do clothing and stuff like that, but I do have a little necklace display and also a bracelet display that I use in my listings, and also that I use when I am making my listings. I think it really makes a big difference when it comes to the quality of the listing to have them displayed nicely. Again, these things are really, really cheap. You can get them online, and they're just good things that you're gonna use, so it's really important to just have them on hand for when you need them. And then the next thing that's essential to have, which I'm pretty sure most of you have at this point, is some kind of phone or camera. Now, I don't think you need a fancy camera setup. I don't think you need a professional light or anything. I think daylight is like the best. I think that really goes a long way. But if you don't have daylight, if you really need to take your photos at night, you can use a ring light or, any other kind of natural light like that, but you don't want it to be something too bright or distorting, because then it will mess up the colors. But really, at the bare minimum, all you really need is a phone, which most of us have these days, and that's going to really do everything that you need it to do with the pictures and the videos for each of your listings. The next thing that is essential for when it comes to making my listings is a measuring tape. Now, I have a small little bendy one that I can wrap up in a ball and put in my closet. That one is great because I've had it for years and it's lasted, and I swear by that one in particular, but you can get any kind that works for you. but it's just so essential to have because you need to take measurements of your listings. So having something like that is so important to have on hand. It really makes a difference with your listings. And also if someone asks you for a measurement, you can quickly grab your measuring tape and just measure it. Okay, so the next thing that I use when it comes to my listings, but then also when I'm packaging, is a lint roller. So this makes a big difference if you have any lint on any item, or any, like, if you have pets, any pet hair, or even human hair. Me, I have long hair. I always have hair over like every piece of clothing before I take the photos of it and then before I ship it out. So a lint roller goes a long way, and it's cheap and affordable, and you can use a lint roller on your personal clothes or, you know, whatever. So like, I think that's just a multi-purpose tool that you should really have as a reseller, but you could also use in your own life. Hey everyone, so future me jumping in to add something I completely forgot, and I don't know why I forgot it, but it's such an essential tool that I use as a reseller. So that is a fabric shaver. So this is really going to help you clean those items that have any pilling or any, like, you know, dots and texture to them. This is especially good on leggings or even sweaters or things like that if they have any like pulls. So I really recommend having a fabric shaver. They are very cheap. It's a small little gadget. You put a couple batteries in it and it's good to go. So that is an essential tool. I'm not really sure how I forgot it in the first video, but I definitely wanted to make sure I included it here because it's so important to have, and it's come in handy so many times. Sometimes I'll get an item, I'll sell it, and I won't realize that it has any pilling to it, so then I just use the fabric shaver real quick. And sometimes I just use a fabric shaver just to make sure that the item is nice and soft and smooth when I send it out, and it just makes such a big difference. So definitely make sure you have a fabric shaver. Again, that is something that you could use in your personal life as well, but it's also so essential as a reseller. Okay, back to the regular programming. Okay, so the next tools that are essential when it comes to listing are any cleaning products. Cleaning products that I swear by are a magic eraser, Goo Gone, and Folex. These three things are essential, and I use them on pretty much every pair of shoes that I need to clean, or if there's a stain on something I need to get it out. I use these three things. I also do use spray and wash on occasion for clothing, but really the Folex gets the stains out of things when I need it to, and the magic eraser really brings shoes back to life. And I use Amodex, which is a ink stain remover. So if you have any stains in purses that you're trying to get out, Amodex works really great for that. So these are all products that I've collected over the years, and I actually stock up on them on like Black Friday or Prime Day. Prime Day is actually coming up pretty soon, so if not by the time I already get this video out. So I would stack up on these products and get ahead of them because you're going to get them at a cheaper deal, and then you're going to be able to use them throughout the year. And a bottle of Folex goes a really long way, and same thing with all the other products. Goo Gone is great if you get a, you know, Goodwill or thrift store tag that's stuck on the item. Sometimes they are like sticky and stuff. Goo Gone will get that right off, and it will bring the shoe to a more sellable state. So I really recommend having some kind of cleaning product on hand. You never know when you're really going to need a good cleaning product, so I just recommend having them. Again, these are products that you can use in your day-to-day normal life as well, outside of reselling, but I always just have them on hand, ready to go if I need them. So let's move right into the shipping supplies that I think are essential to have. So starting off, I do think it's really important to have some packing tape. I use clear tape. I think that is, you know, it looks aesthetic and it's just better. And I also have my own custom tape that I add to any boxes that I don't use my own custom mailers for. I think that's just, it goes, like, it adds a nice touch, but it's not necessary if you don't want to get your own packaging. Totally understand, but I do think some kind of tape is key when you're, you know, listing and sending out your packages. And then the next thing is obviously a box or poly mailers or something of that nature to put the items in. So I use the USPS free boxes that you get at the post office. You can get them mailed to you, or you can pick them up yourself. And I use those for shoes or bigger bundles or bigger items. And then I use my poly mailers that are custom for, you know, one item, like a shirt or pants or something like that, that could fit in those. And I have bubble mailers, regular mailers, and then I have larger mailers. I have a bunch of different sizes just in case. And I also have a couple of spare, like, just plain brown boxes that were from things that I ordered, or like old Amazon boxes that, like, if I need to put a bigger item in that doesn't fit in the priority boxes, I will use a plain brown box for those items. So it's just good to have a bunch of different sizes on hand and good different options. And I also think it's really important to have some kind of packing supplies, such as bubble wrap and, you know, the crinkle paper and tissue paper and things like that, and those like stuffing bubble things that people collect. I think they're so important, and I think every time I get a package, I'm always telling people, give me their bubble wrap and give me all their packaging supplies, because it really helps when you're stuffing the packages. You don't want the item to be like thrown around in the box, especially like with shoes or delicate items. So I always collect all that stuffing and packing stuff from when I get orders, and I also tell friends and family to save it for me as well. And I think you'd be surprised how much that would come in handy, and how you don't want to buy it. It's cheap stuff, but you just don't want to have to end up buying it. So just collect it and you will put it to use. And then the next thing that's essential is having scissors. So some kind of good pair of scissors to have on hand if you need to cut any tape, or if you need to cut any, you know, tissue paper, bubble mailers, whatever. Just having a good pair of scissors on hand is great. Also, to remove those tags that you get when you pick up items at the thrift stores, it's good to have a good pair of scissors on hand. Okay, so now when it comes to actually packaging the item up, I always think it's important and a good thing to do to add a thank you card, but that is not completely necessary. You don't have to, especially if you are new, but I personally do. I think it just adds a nice touch, and I think it goes a long way to some people. So I put a thank you card and my business card in my packages, and I also like to put tissue paper, like a colorful tissue paper on top to make the package look even better. And I also do use these clear bags that I put the clothing in, and I'll show you a picture of what these look like, but basically it just is a cleaner way to put the item in a bubble mailer or a box or something like that, because it keeps the item from being damaged and it just looks more professional. It kind of looks like you got it from like a store. So I put each individual piece of clothing in one of these little plastic clear bags, and I get those from Amazon. I get them delivered like every 2 months, so they're on a subscription, and I go through them. And so I think it's important to have these, and so I think investing in these kind of things, it'll really just protect the item from, you know, getting damaged. And then the final thing when it comes to shipping out the item that I think is a crucial item to have is a label printer. So I invested in one, I think 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I got it on like Black Friday, and I think it's been a game changer for me. I used to use a regular printer, and that was not working out for me. I ended up wasting a lot of paper, which regular paper can add up and get expensive, and then you have to pay for ink on top of it, and then you had to, you know, cut out the label, and then you had to cover it with tape so it wouldn't get ripped. And I just didn't think this was very good. It didn't look professional on the packages either, and it just was a very much of a money sucker. So I ended up investing in a label thermal printer, and so this one does not use ink, it uses heat, and so you never have to replace the ink. And all you have to do is replace the paper every so often. I think it comes with like 500 sheets, so like it takes me a long time to get through that. And they're actually really cheap in comparison to like regular paper and ink. So that's the only thing that you have to, you know, maintain. And my printer has been great. It's very easy to use. You just hook it up and then it, you know, prints. And so I really recommend investing in one if you haven't already. I think it's going to make a big difference for you in terms of your reselling business. And I have my regular printer as a backup that I use for my personal life, but I like having both on hand because I just think it adds a nice touch. And then the final thing that I'm gonna recommend in this video are any kind of organization things that you can use to store your inventory. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of people ask me how I store my inventory, or like if I have any good hacks. And really, it's just important to be organized, because if you're not organized, it's going to be very hard for you to find anything. So a while back, I had a bunch of my shoes just in these giant like brown bins in my closet, and every time I would sell a pair of shoes, I'd have to dig to the bottom of the bin to find the pair of shoes that I was looking for, and then I'd find out that the shoe was either damaged or, you know, smushed in, and, you know, it just wasn't a good setup. So then I invested in the shoe rack that's behind me, and it really does make a difference. It displays the shoes nicely, it looks very aesthetic, the shoes don't get damaged, and it's very easy to find any pair that I have. So that's how I store my shoes. I also have a clothing rack or a garment rack that has my in-season pieces on it, and it also has my high-end pieces on it. So that's also essential. If you do any kind of live shows, I think having a garment rack is really, really helpful. I don't do those live shows, so I don't really use it for that, but if you are a live seller, having a clothing rack is key. So I have that, and then like I said, I have those, like I have like a little weighing scale, because that's good if you ever need to make sure the package is under 5 pounds. So I have one of those. And then in terms of my storage in my closet, I have like bins where I store, you know, my bathing suits, stuff like that. I also have these hanging bins where I store like my jeans and my leggings and my tops. And then I use velvet black hangers. I like to have all my hangers be the same, and I hang up my sweaters or dresses or things like that. And then I use the 3 drawer units to store all my shipping supplies, and then I use a big brown box to store all my boxes and my mailers. So I just have a system that works for me, and I think it's just important to figure out what works for you and your business. But these are just some tips that I use and I think like really help. So if you can find a system that works, and maybe take some of these tips and maybe try some of these products, I think it'll actually really help you. So I want to tell you that every product that I talk about in this video has actually been linked down below. You can search my links, they're on Amazon, and I think it will help you just be more organized and really stay on top of things as a reseller. And I think if you have these products, you're gonna have a much easier time selling, and it's just gonna make your life so much easier. So let me know down below if there's any products that you use that I haven't talked about in this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think are essential products for reselling. I know everyone has different products that are essential for them, but I think these are kind of the bare minimum and the basics. And so I would love to hear if you have any other products that work really well for you. And also let me know down below what is the next product that you think you're going to order that you need for your reselling business. And make sure, like I said, make sure you shop those links down below. They're all linked and it's very easy. You could just click on the link and then you can add it to cart. You could also select a color or size or something that works for your space. So if this video was helpful, make sure you give it a like and make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a future reselling video that I do here on this channel. But if you want to see another video on things that you should stop doing that is killing your reselling business, you can click right here. And if you want to see how September was for me in terms of sales, you can click right here. But until next time, I will see you then.